Hello everyone, it's Scruffy here again. Can you believe it? A small bee colony can produce enough honey to fill a swimming pool. Honey is not only sweet, but also a nutritional treasure, offering countless health benefits. Let's dive into the magical process of how this honey is made. But before we begin, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any exciting videos from Scruffy about the animal world. Are you ready? Let's get started. Did you know that to maintain and develop the hive, honeybees must make millions of flights to collect enough nectar and pollen, demonstrating the intricacy and scale of their work? As the sun rises and flowers begin to bloom, honeybees start their busy workday. With their delicate but strong wings, these bees fly from flower to flower, creating a vibrant and mesmerizing scene. Their main task is to collect pollen, a valuable nutrient not only for themselves, but also for the entire hive. Did you know? Collecting pollen is not as simple as it seems. Once a bee finds a suitable flower, it lands on the petals and starts gathering pollen. Their legs, equipped with small baskets called pollen baskets, carefully sweep pollen from the flower's stamens into these baskets. These pollen baskets allow bees to carry a significant amount of pollen back to the hive after each flight. The bee's body is covered with dense and special hair, about 3 million tiny hairs in total, even on their eyes. Incredible, right? These hairs help bees capture pollen from flowers and keep it effectively on their bodies. To collect enough pollen, a honeybee must visit hundreds of flowers each day. They start from the hive, flying out to the vast flower fields. Their keen eyes make it easy for them to spot flowers full of pollen. When they find a flower, each tiny pollen grain is meticulously and carefully collected, bit by bit. Landing on the soft petals, bees use their front and middle legs to brush pollen from the stamens, like a skilled artist working on their masterpiece. The pollen is then transferred to the pollen baskets on their hind legs, which look like golden baskets shining under the sun. They gently hover around each stamen, collecting every tiny pollen grain with incredible diligence. Moving from flower to flower tirelessly, they continue until their pollen baskets are full. When they return to the hive after long flights in search of pollen, worker bees look like little warriors with their legs full of golden pollen. They enter the storage area, where the honeycomb cells are ready to receive the precious nectar and pollen. With incredible diligence and skill, worker bees start their meticulous work. They use their heads to compress each pollen grain into the honeycomb cells. Each compression tightly packs the pollen, creating solid and beautiful layers of pollen like golden gems shining under the sun. This process not only prevents pollen from falling and being wasted, but also keeps it fresh and pure, ready for the next steps. Compressing pollen is not just a technical act, but also an art, showcasing the diligence and skill of worker bees. The tightly packed pollen layers in the honeycomb cells optimize storage space and create a vibrant, colorful picture with the scent of flowers from all around. Once the pollen is tightly packed, worker bees mix it with a small amount of honey and enzymes from their saliva, initiating a natural fermentation process. Lactic acid bacteria in the hive begin to work, transforming the pollen into bee bread, which is easily digestible and nutrient-rich. When fermentation is complete, bee bread is sealed with a thin layer of beeswax to preserve it, keeping it safe and nutritious. Enzymes not only help break down nutrients from the pollen, but also preserve this mixture for a long time. Bee bread is an extremely important protein source, providing essential nutrients like protein, vitamins, and minerals, ensuring the development of bee larvae. Before that, the process of turning nectar into sweet and precious honey is no less intricate. The first step in this process is when nectar is brought into the hive. Worker bees receive nectar from returning bees. The nectar is ingested by worker bees and mixed with enzymes in their saliva. This enzyme, primarily invertase, helps break down sucrose in nectar into simpler sugars like glucose and fructose. But the story doesn't end there. After the nectar is processed with enzymes, the bees store it in small cells of the honeycomb called honeycomb cells. And the next task is fascinating. To turn nectar into thick honey, worker bees must evaporate the water from the nectar. To do this, hundreds or even thousands of worker bees continuously beat their wings to create airflow, helping the water to evaporate quickly, making the nectar thicker and turning it into honey. This is a process that requires coordinated and tireless effort. When the honey reaches the desired thickness, these honeycomb cells are sealed with a layer of beeswax. This wax layer not only preserves the honey, but also prevents bacteria and other harmful elements from entering. Fascinating, isn't it? From nectar, thanks to the skill and hard work of the bees, we have honey, a precious gift from nature. Not only do bees produce sweet honey with benefits, but they are also linked to fascinating anecdotes and stories. For instance, the story of worker bees, the diligent workers of the hive. Each worker bee lives only about 5 to 6 weeks. Yes, their lives are short, but full of dedication. One notable point is that when a honeybee decides to deliver the final sting and sting someone, its stinger gets stuck in the person's skin. This brave act not only causes pain to the victim, but is also the last sting of the bee, as it will die shortly after. In other words, each sting is a lifetime mission of the bee. But don't worry, the hive always has thousands of worker bees ready to continue the work, from collecting nectar to protecting the hive, bringing joy and sweet honey to life. Next, did you know that the amount of honey each worker bee collects in its short life, from 5 to 6 weeks, is only about 1/10 of a teaspoon? Yes, you heard right, just a tiny drop. Imagine a small worker bee flying everywhere, diligently collecting each drop of nectar, and in the end, only enough to fill a corner of a teaspoon. This is an incredible fact about the dedication of bees. Thanks to the small but tireless contributions of thousands of worker bees, we have sweet jars of honey to enjoy. So, the next time you savor some honey, remember the relentless efforts of these tiny warriors. There's another important character in the hive, the queen bee, the great monarch of the hive. The queen bee can live up to 5 years, a record lifespan in the bee world. During the busy summer months, the queen bee becomes a super insect, laying up to 2,500 eggs each day. Incredible, right? This unending dedication of the queen bee is to maintain the growth and survival of the entire hive. This great mother doesn't rest, like a 24/7 egg-laying machine. Each day, the queen bee manages her massive egg-laying project from morning to night, tirelessly, making the whole hive admire her unending dedication. With this working efficiency, the queen bee truly is a great egg-laying machine, ensuring the strong growth and survival of the hive. Such an admirable queen, isn't she? Honeybees are not only sweet honey producers, but also silent heroes of the ecosystem. Honeybees play a crucial role in pollinating crops and wild plants. About 75% of the world's crops depend on honeybee pollination. Thanks to them, flower fields bloom, fruits flourish, and plants reproduce, creating a rich and diverse environment for all species. Unbelievable, right? These tiny bees are truly the key to the balance and development of the ecosystem. Honey is not just a delicious food, but also a precious gift from nature, crystallized from the tireless efforts of diligent bees. With many health benefits and nutritional value, honey deserves to be cherished. Through this story, if you are using honey, remember to use it wisely and not waste it. Additionally, contribute to protecting the bees' habitat by planting flowers, reducing pesticide use, and supporting sustainable honey products. By doing so, we not only protect the bees, but also maintain the sweet honey source from nature. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, so everyone can enjoy, and subscribe to the channel to explore more wonders of the natural world with me, Scruffy.